Hey everyone, welcome to Fit Chicks Chat. I'm Amanda Quinn, and on today's episode, I have the amazing Tanya Plummer with me. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Amanda.
How's it going?
Absolutely fantastic. How about you?
I'm so good. And I'm really excited to have you join me today. You know, you and I have been trying to connect for a little while, and we were having some communication issues just because of my end. It was not you, it was me. It's all me. But I'm also but also, as I was talking to you about, like, I've been following your story for a long time now, and I've been following your transformation, and I'm so honored to have you join me today because I think what you have to share is so honest, so real, and being able to share this with our listeners and what that looks like from a transformational standpoint, I think is so cool. So why don't we start with that?
Okay.
Why don't you start by just telling our listeners the story of your own transformation and how that came about?
Well, it's going back quite a few years now. Like before 2011 is when I really started to consider that the life I was leading was not making me happy. And
Mhm.
I was really depressed. I had a lot of mood swings. I couldn't seem to get control of my eating. It was way out of control. Anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety too. And I was never really, at that time, I didn't make the connection that what I was eating was in direct correlation to that. But I just thought, I'm doing everything I think I should be doing. I'm dieting. I'm doing hours and hours of workouts, and I'm just not getting anywhere. And
Mhm.
then there was one specific moment in time. It's almost like that thing that's burned in your brain forever, and I'll never forget it. And I was in my hallway. I wasn't married to my ex-husband yet, but we were getting married soon. And I was frustrated because, I was in a size 18 wedding dress, and I'm putting the laundry away. And I'm like, I couldn't even finish my workout. I was doing a Jillian Michaels DVD workout earlier.
Oh my gosh, they were my faves.
I know, back in the day, right? Couldn't even do a front raise with a 1-pound dumbbell. And I was so hard on myself. And I went, you know what? And I literally threw the towel in the cupboard, and I said, God just wants me to be fat. I literally gave up all hope and everything in that moment.
Yeah.
Within that second that thought went through my head, snap, light bulb said, no, you're not going down that way. Figure it out. And ever since
Cool.
then, it's been years of figuring it out, failing and trying and failing and trying. Because to me, failure is only when you don't really try. Failure is when you give up altogether. So I had, stumbling blocks. I did the quick fixes in the beginning. I did everything. But that, in that pivotal moment, was the beginning, basically, of my many-year journey. And I mean, it doesn't happen overnight, but you got to keep.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
And so you say, like, you tried everything. Like, were you someone who, like, were you doing like all the fad diets and like the cleanses and like that kind of stuff?
I was doing the diet shakes. I won't mention brand names because
No. Yeah, no, okay.
diet shakes, the diet pills, the really serious sold under the counter diet pills.
Oh,
I was doing tummy wraps to shrink the fat away. I was doing,
yeah.
Appetite suppressants. Big time on the appetite suppressants.
Oh,
Because
wow.
eating, I won't gain weight, not knowing that is totally putting me in starvation mode, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
it was that hopelessness and that helplessness instead of, and eventually I totally credit my mom to this. She got me reading about Toscarino and clean eating. And that is
Yeah.
basically my bridge to how all this started, was eating about just health food. And not really
Right.
health food, more like unprocessed food.
Just real food. Yeah.
Real food at the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
Not in boxes and the plastic cellophane and everything. So yeah, I was like literally the quick fix queen. I tried it all. And my poor husband at the time, because we all know when we're dieting how we can be raging mad for no reason whatsoever.
I feel like I'm raging mad all the time, regardless. Maybe I'm really hungry. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I know.
Yeah. No, so what did you like, and did you find during that process though? So you were saying that started in 2011, right? And so that's been like 8 years of like trial. Now, did you find a path and just kind of stick to it and stick to your guns, or did you have some stumbling blocks along the way?
Well, at the beginning, I was totally into the clean eating, and that pretty much, I have to say, looking back, different types of clean eating over the years, that's always been a constant the entire way. Now, today clean eating is like the bad word kind of thing. And I
Right.
don't believe that at all. I think that whole unprocessed foods is totally the way to go. Where I personally made the mistake is that I was eating what a lot of fitness professionals and bodybuilding pros were eating. And that was a really high carb diet, 5 to 6 small meals a day. My meals weren't small. Let's call it
Right.
spade. I was eating 5 to 6 real meals a day. So that's why I couldn't get the weight off. But the
Right.
clean eating aspect was definitely a thread throughout the whole, still to this day.
Oh, cool. And what about your workouts? How did those shift? Like, were you someone, I know, like you were saying, you started with like a Jillian Michaels workout and stuff like that. Like, I know for me, I used to do Jillian Michaels all the time. Like, I was like, and I, like, Jillian, if you're listening, I love you.
I know, right?
I know. Oh, so side note, like I saw the other day when I like logged into my Skype account that I missed a call from Jillian Michaels, and I was like, I'm gonna just like have a heart attack right now, like
Right.
pass out. Yeah, I don't. It was probably a mistake on her part, but because we had an interview before and that's how we did it, so I was like, she must have just dialed me by accident. But anyways, if you didn't, Jillian, call me back. But
I'll call her assistant getting to do that for you.
I digress. But so in terms of your workouts though, and like that's sort of where you started, how has that evolved, or how did that evolve over the years? Because I know that this is one thing a lot of our listeners get really stuck in, is they do the same thing over and over again, or they get stuck with the cardio mentality, or that more is better.
Yes.
So how did you kind of eliminate all of that?
That is
Change
really,
that.
yeah, that's a really interesting journey. And it's just, again, changed for me in the sense that it was all DVDs at home in the beginning because I was too embarrassed to go to a gym, right? It wasn't until, we're 2019, so maybe 2 or 3 years ago that I actually started going to a gym because I just didn't have the nerve. I have, high anxiety, and doing something like that and putting myself, actually, when I went to the gym, I went and signed up and literally ran out because I was too scared to work out that day. I went back,
Yeah.
right? I went outside my comfort zone, but I did a lot of, on-demand videos, YouTube videos. I did a lot of, everything was at home. And sometimes I was doing upwards of 2 workouts a day, thinking, like you said, that more is better. And it never really made the scale move one way or the other. At the time, I didn't realize that I was probably putting so much more stress on my body and raising my cortisol levels by, undue stress from over-exercising, but also I would burn out. So I could work out for a good 3 months, and then it was like I had to take a month off. And I didn't know at the time either, because I wasn't that I was hurting myself by working out that much. Now my workouts, I just turned I'm separated, so I turned my basement into my home gym. So I am back to working out again for the winter at home. I'll go back to the spring. And I mean, I have all kinds of equipment and everything, and I still do a split. So I'll do, say, chest and biceps Monday, front legs Tuesday, biceps, triceps Wednesday, something like that. But I mix my cardio in with my weight training. So it's more long circuit training, or I do a Tabata at the end, a 4 or an 8-minute Tabata, depending on my energy levels that day. So right now, for me, and especially with my lifestyle and what I teach as well, less is more as long as it's intense. It's doing smart exercise as opposed to just anything. So get in, work your butt off, get out, and you're that much better off. You have more time in the day, I find.
And now, did you find, like, when you shifted from doing sort of, DVDs or like a lot of cardio based or, light weights to shifting to like a more of a heavier weight, did you notice a big shift in your body composition and in sort of your energy levels and just overall like a big change?
When I was doing the really long workouts, I used to have to take a nap after.
Wow.
I mean, and I'm not talking, 10, 15 minutes, an hour.
Yeah.
I'm the sleep girl, I will admit. I'm a sleep girl. I love my sleep, but it was just too much for my body. I was trying to do workouts that were for people that were already in shape. And yes, I do firmly believe there is a difference. I wasn't working with my overweight 220-pound body at the time, right? So it just, my body was like, no, girl, no, we're not cool here. Now, my workouts, like I did my workout last night at 7 o'clock and I came up in the best mood. I was so energetic. and it helps my energy last me all day. Usually I like to do them earlier in the day, but the day got away from me. But I find that the shorter workouts, they keep me happy, they keep my energy even. And I mean, if you can come out of a workout happy, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy how much it can shift your energy just by moving your body. And like, you know, I talk to a lot of people about this, and I say, like, there's so many times where there's so many times where I go to the gym and I'm like, I don't really want to, like in the moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a million other things I should be doing. I don't have the energy to do this, but the shift and the change in my energy level is so worth it. And I know that it'll happen. And so, like, for the people that are listening now that are like, but I'm too tired, I'm too exhausted, like, I get it. I hear you. I feel you. I am like running on 4 to 5 hours sleep a night usually, like, because lately my daughter's been waking up a lot. Just wants to hang out. So I get it, but it's like, it actually will help you. I promise you. But just don't make it too long. So, like, did you find for you, like, what is that sweet spot for you for working out? Like, what's that time? I know for me, it's like 40 minutes. Like, anything more than 40 minutes usually feels like it's like too much. Like, I try to fit it all in 40.
I always say 30, but I always find myself going about 45. I'll be honest. And that is including my that's if I do everything. So that's my warm up and the cool down, the workout itself, plus my cardio.
Oh,
so
wow. Yeah.
I try to get everything, you know, with my own clients, I try to steer them close to that 30-minute mark. But also, you know, from all the research I've done, anything above the 45 minutes, your body's going into stress mode.
Yeah.
So that will be working against my fat loss. So I'm the same, about 40, 45 minutes, and I'm good. Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Now, I mean, looking back, like, I know that you've shared some things, but looking back right now at like 2011, or even before that, before you even had that aha moment, before you had that moment of like clarity, what would you say to the person going to the drugstore buying those diet pills or their appetite suppressants, or, you know?
I want to give her a really big hug first, because I know where that moment is, that she, in that moment, I know where she is. I know mentally you need that one little bit, maybe 1-2 pound drop to give you, okay, I can do this, to give a little bit more momentum to keep going. I mean, I don't really know how else to say that they don't work. There's a reason the fitness industry the weight loss industry is a $6 billion business. It's because they're selling diets and diet pills, etc., and quick fixes, and they don't work. And they know that. They're counting on that desperation that we feel, that we just want a little bit of positive change in our life.
Mm-hmm.
If you're willing to if you're willing to give the diet pill a chance, also be willing to make 1 or 2 small changes in your current eating habits by adding water and a little bit more vegetables or fruit. If you're going to do the diet pill and you're not going to give that up yet, you're just not there mindset wise, okay, but mix it in with something healthier, like drinking more water, because that is such a huge part of weight loss, and adding more vegetables, because we need the fiber, the nutrients, the minerals, and we're a processed diet life or society. Everything's got to be ready in 2 minutes in the microwave or in the drive-through on the way home from work. And I get that, but it's really it's hurting you. It's getting in the way.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a major roadblock for you to reach your goals. And when you understand that, I think that's when you can actually start shifting the needle a little bit forward.
Absolutely.
Go on. No, please go ahead.
I don't want anyone to sort of take away anything, because there's always that, oh, I can't do it because I can't have this, I can't go here, I can't eat that. No. How I like to suggest things is to maybe just add a few healthy things. So that's why I said, okay, you're going to do the diet pill. I wish you wouldn't, but until you figure that out for yourself, also add in the 1 or 2 healthy habits.
Yeah, we really wish that you wouldn't do the diet pills, definitely.
I'm telling you right now, stop it. But, they just won't,
No, of course, you have to. It's almost like anything else, like quitting smoking or anything else. It's like, that you shouldn't.
Right.
You got to get to the place where you can make the decision to stop it, right? You have to get to, everyone can tell you what you should and shouldn't do, but you have to get to that place internally to feel prepared to make that decision. And I did diet pills too when I was younger. I remember I was taking it, and I remember taking one once, and it literally made me feel like I was having heart palpitations. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. I couldn't wait for it to get out of my system because it just made me feel so anxious and crazy. And so, yeah.
Right before my wedding. And on my wedding day, I was a hot mess. And it was
oh my gosh.
My heart was beating out of my chest. And
yeah.
I was a raving lunatic. Like you hear those, what is it?
Bridezilla.
On my wedding day, like I put them all to shame. I was like, they wreck the journey. They honestly do. And yeah, don't.
Now, I know, like from an eating approach standpoint, you are really into keto, like the keto lifestyle. Can you tell me why that is? Because I know that there is controversy out there about it, like, but there's controversy about everything, right? And so, and you know, for anyone listening, like I don't say one strategy is better than the other. I like to investigate and I like to understand people's reasoning and how it is working for them so that we can educate other people on it. So what is your why? Why does keto make sense to you?
For me, and I have to preface this, we're going to go back to Jillian Michaels for a second.
Yeah.
I met her in real life. I was up on her stage when she did her tour a couple years ago, and she always said that keto was evil. So I honestly thought keto was evil. I wasn't educated yet, obviously, at the point. And I think she still holds the same thought process. But
there's actually something in the media right now about it. She's fighting with people about it. Yeah. It's actually like current right now.
Yeah, I saw it on Shape Magazine, actually, on their Instagram. They had a video, and she's just ripping keto to shreds. And everyone has their own opinion, and that's totes cool. Totally cool. But for me, I just found when I started to do the research, because it was coming up again and coming up again and coming up again, because I like to do I read a lot of books, a lot of online forums, a lot of blogs, to keep sort of up to date in what's happening with nutrition. And I was just seeing so many amazing physical, but also mental transformations from people who have done keto. Now, I don't do hardcore keto. I am not a 5% carbohydrate intake or less person a day. I did try that and I found it really hard to maintain. So I'm more at this stage in my life, 10 to 15%, maybe even 20, because I've tried different avenues and that is what seems to work best for me. But the reason why keto, I think, works so well is having a higher fat content in your diet is very complementary with the brain. The brain is fueled by a lot of healthy fats. And I was just tired of feeling like getting, people talk about the carb or the keto flu. I had like the carb flu. Yeah. I was always lethargic. I was always low energy. I was really high carb, like 200 grams of carbs or more a day. And I just found that it wasn't helping me in my fat loss.
Right.
My body was using those carbohydrates for energy and never tapping into my fat stores. So when I did the research, I thought, okay, I'll try it. I will be my own guinea pig. And if this works, I'll share my story, my transformation. If people are interested, I'll create a program around it. And what happened is literally, I went through a really rough period last year. My husband left in May. So between May and December, I was really focused on keto. And I went from a size 16 to 16, 18 down to a 12. Wow. And I wasn't doing anything different. Like my workouts were still less than what I normally was doing. It was just, I was eating higher, healthy fats, moderate protein, and lower healthy carbs, and trying to keep the sugar down really, really low as well. So I found for me, it gave me what I was looking for. So that's why, even though I'm not as hardcore with it now, it still works for my fat loss goals. So that's why I started it, gave it a shot, and I'm still with it.
Okay. And what would you say would be some of the biggest misconceptions about keto out there in the market?
Misconception is it's high protein. It's not.
Right.
Or you know what though? It is. There's so many different strains of keto, if you will. But I think a healthy keto diet it's not high protein. Moderate protein is best. You're not eating just bacon and sausages. And I mean, I think there's one, he calls himself the bacon chef or something like that. I can't remember. So it's that, people think it's all high processed fat foods, and it gives you carte blanche with that, or all cheese, right? The all cheese diet. And
I would like that diet. I'll do that one.
Dairy's not my friend, but I'm a little good with the Parm cheese, so I stick with Parm cheese. And then it's hard. People think that, oh, I can't cut out carbs, but you're not cutting them out altogether. You're just getting them from different sources, like
right.
vegetables. Some people think, oh, I can never have fruit on keto. Sure you can. Find a way, low sugar, low glycemic index type fruit, berries, some apples, for instance. Maybe bananas aren't in papaya and isn't your best option, but it's not a hard and fast diet. And I think that if you work your way into it and just sort of try to be willing to try different avenues of keto, and that's why I say, higher fat, low carb, as opposed to just hardcore strict keto, is really, really great for fat loss.
Okay. And what would you say though, to someone who what would be your top tips for someone who is like, okay, I'm interested in trying it. I don't know if I want to go super hardcore, like the 5% carb kind of deal. What would be sort of some of the strategies that you would suggest for them to even just get started, like from a grocery standpoint or from a meal prep standpoint or anything like that?
I think the first thing that I would say is that make sure you eat enough. A lot of people, when they start eating keto, what happens is, or when they eat a high fat, low carb diet, is they become satiated quite quickly. Fat is very satiating. It fills you up. It makes you feel full. So, all of a sudden you're a 5 to 6 small meal a day kind of gal. You find yourself going down to only 1 or 2 meals and you're not hungry.
Yeah.
The thing that can happen with that though, and you really need to monitor how your body responds. And maybe in the beginning, if you're open to it, even tracking macros, is just eat enough, right? You have to make sure you're eating enough, because otherwise your body goes into starvation mode. Also, a lot of people give up within the first week, 2, 3, because they get the keto flu. So symptoms like headaches, lethargy, digestive distress, not sleeping very well. They feel like they have the flu, but they don't. And so people think, oh, well, this is making me sick, so it can't be good for me. What's actually happening is your body's just going through a little bit of a detox, and it's just getting used to your new healthier eating habits. So stay the course. And the last thing I say is, some people would say to me, I've been doing keto or I've been eating high fat, low carb for 6 months and I haven't lost 1 pound. Then you're not perhaps eating as clean as you should. Maybe you're eating a little bit more processed that you should, and you definitely might not be drinking enough water. You need a lot of water on keto. You need to keep that hydration up.
Now, do calories count? We don't like talking about calories and all that kind of stuff usually, with Fit Chicks Chat, we never usually talk about it from a counting calorie standpoint, but do calories impact keto in any way? Do you pay attention to macros, or do you pay, obviously you have to kind of know your macros in some way to make sure that you are eating enough fats. What's the percentage of fat you're supposed to eat?
Well, if it's true hardcore keto, they say 5% or less. I'm more along the lines of 10 to 20%. And now, because I've been doing it long enough, I don't track my macros, but in the beginning, I do recommend it. And it's just for the simple fact, I do not agree with counting calories, because calories are so subjective. You can have, 110 calories of, coffee, or you can have 0 calories of coffee, depending on what you put in it, right? So, and I think that as a woman personally, firsthand, but women in general get so caught up on that number that it takes away the nutrition portion of eating healthier. So in the beginning, you know what I mean? We're just.
Oh no, I know. Sorry to interrupt you, but I totally feel you on that, because I think, I remember looking at menus for restaurants, how they have their menus online. Before, when I used to be really obsessed with what I was eating and I was tracking everything, I would always look, if I knew I was going to a chain restaurant, I'd always look at their menu first to find their calorie breakdown before they had them. Now they have them on the menus, but before that they didn't.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember looking and being in shock, because I was there's a Greek chicken salad that's 1,200 calories, or there's this calzone that's 500 calories.
Yes.
And I was but most people would then say, okay, well, I'm going to eat the calzone because it's less calories. But really, it's not all calories are created equal. not all calories are the same. So when you look at it from a caloric standpoint, you could be eating less calories, but you're not eating nutrient dense food. And so that's where you end up running into problems, I believe, when it comes to that, when it comes to like calorie tracking.
Totally. I mean, they say that, a calorie is a calorie, but it's not. I knew a girl once, not a client of mine, but she lost a lot of weight really quickly, and she was of the mindset, well, as long as I only have 100 calories for my snack, I'm good. So she ate banana pudding instead of a real
delicious
banana.
Yeah.
And I tried to explain to her, okay, well, it's not the same thing though. You're going to be coming back to that 100-calorie snack in about 2 hours, because the sugar crash you're going to have is going to, more than what the banana would satiate, longer than the banana would satiate you. So I totally agree that calories count, but they don't. Does that make sense at all? And I don't teach my clients to count calories, just because my personal experience in the beginning, if I had one single calorie over 1,200 calories or 900 when I was,
gosh,
I know
900. Like
totally. Someone had me on a 900 calorie diet. No wonder I fired them.
900 calories. It's like my breakfast.
Exactly. Totally. So I don't think that calories should be the focus. In the beginning, I think it's important that you understand what you're putting in your body. So that's why I do teach counting macros, what macros are, why they're important to track, but it's not something you have to do for life. It's like when you're learning to tie your shoes. Well, in the very beginning, you have to learn to do it a certain way.Maybe you're doing just a single knot, but maybe down the road, you're going to remember Velcro shoes in the 80s?
Yeah, my daughter has Velcro shoes.
Okay. To that, but in the beginning, you should learn how to tie them with laces.
Yeah.
Same concept. You're going to learn how to track your macros so you can understand what's happening in your body. I think that every single woman should have a little bit of an idea, so you can read your body, how it feels, what your body's doing is going to actually be talking to you. So if you have a headache, then you need to, maybe look back and see what you ate. And then that's going to explain why.
Yeah.
But I'm not a calorie counter, and no, I have more important things to do.
Well, yeah, it is. It's so consuming when you start thinking about calories and everything else. And when you look back at like some of those diet plans that back in the day that like had those cards that you had to carry around, and like you move them from one side to the other, and the folders and all that kind of stuff. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I remember those things. And it's like, holy smokes, like it just takes so much energy and time and effort, and like it doesn't have to be that complicated, really. It really doesn't have to be that complicated.
And when you finally get to a point where you see that eating healthy and you is making you feel better, and then you say, because I don't believe in deprivation, I don't believe you should never have sugar again for the rest of your life. I don't believe you should never have a Big Mac again for the rest of your life. I think that you should not have it often. But when you go and have those, I don't call them treats and I don't call them cheats, but when you have that unhealthy food, to pay attention how you feel. It's going to make you feel like crap. And when you get to a point where you're like, I'm not okay with feeling like that.
Yeah.
That is where you're on the right path, that you're eating healthily enough on a regular basis that it's going to make you say, yeah, it's just not worth it to me. I don't feel like I'm missing out anymore.
Right.
That's the stage that woohoo, we're on our way.
Now, with your clients and with your programs, like how do you get someone set up if they're just starting out on the journey? Like if they have never really even thought about losing weight or anything else, they just kind of feel like they're stuck in a rut and they don't really know anything what to do. Like how do you get them set up through your programs?
Most of my clients come to me already knowing that they need to eat healthy. So they're not someone that, like I was way back in the beginning. They've had experience with clean eating. They do work out already. So they're not a brand new beginner. However, for instance, right now I'm running a free, it's about to close, but a free 7-day sugar challenge. So what that is an introduction to someone learning, why sugar's bad, how to sort of get off it. It's not a full and complete program, but it sort of introduces them to the idea that it's not you. It's not a lack of willpower. It's just how this particular food item reacts in your body, and that it's okay that you can't seem to kick sugar, but then I'm going to show you how, right?
Yeah.
And so I think baby steps when you're trying anything new, but especially when it comes to diet change and lifestyle change, baby steps work best. So it's tackling one thing, and that's not, I'm not telling the ladies in the program to take away sugar forever. We don't even talk about that. We talk about adding in the healthy instead. So I think if you go from it from a point of view where you're like, oh, I have to give up so much, my life's going to be so boring, my meals are going to stuck, then you're not going to stick with it. But if you come at it from a point of view of adding one or two healthy things until you have them down pat, where they're intrinsic, where they're second nature, then you're able to add some more healthy habits and go from there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, so just to wrap this up, do you have any other pieces of advice that you would like to offer to our listeners that will help them just make a decision to get started today? So anyone who's kind of on the fence, or who maybe is like you before 2011 in that place of just feeling like, maybe I'm just not meant to lose weight. Maybe I'm just meant to feel this way forever. Like, do you have any pieces of advice to help them get on this journey?
Absolutely. I mean, I say this at the end of a lot of my, well, almost all of my live broadcasts, and that is, you were made for more. You were made for more than sitting on the couch wishing your life could be better, wishing you could play at the park with your children, wishing you could participate in that 5K this spring. You're made for more than thinking about it but not taking action. I know it's hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If you don't take those small baby steps forward to help give you that little bit of that momentum, nothing's going to change, and you're going to be in the exact same spot on that couch 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if not weighing heavier physically than mentally. Mm-hmm. You were meant to be happy and healthy, and you deserve that. No matter what anyone told you in the past, no matter what anyone tells you now, and whether you believe it or not in this moment, you do deserve more. And I think more, in whatever capacity that is for that person, comes from a healthier eating and exercise in some form lifestyle.
Oh, I love that. And I got like goosebumps when you were saying that, because it's so true.
Though. It's totally how I feel. And I know that every single woman listening to this or watching this or what have you can reach their goals, have their dreams. And don't wait. Don't wait to join the gym once you lose the weight. Don't wait to have that baby once you lose weight. Don't wait to start dating again after you lose the weight. No. Make that part of you and your journey and your win. It's going to empower you so much.
Yeah, no, and I couldn't agree with you more, because I think, what you said is it rings so true. And this is something that's been actually going through my mind a lot lately, is like, you only have this one time around the world, around this earth, right? And it's like, you have to live it to your true potential. Trust your insides. You know what you want, and your heart desires. Like, you understand that when you listen. So let it speak to you, and then take action towards it, because that's what you were meant to be doing. Mm-hmm. I truly believe that. Yeah.
Comes back totally. So much, women think they don't deserve it, or they find it hard to put themselves first. But if you do put yourself as the priority, everything else gets better. You're a better mom, you're a better worker, you're a better sister, you're a better husband, or I guess you're not a better husband, but you're better.
Yeah.
I mean, just don't wait. Go.
Yeah.
Go now.
No, for sure. And just to speak to that before we wrap up, when you just said, like, as women and as moms, like, you'll be a better mom and stuff, like, guys, as a mom, I can honestly say that, like, I get it. I feel you. It's hard sometimes, like, to balance having, a child that you want to care for and be there for. And then I own my own businesses, and I have my household to take care of, and I have my relationship to manage, and I have all of these things. And then I'm like, where do I fit myself in? But I have to make myself a priority. I schedule it into my day, and that's how I make it, guys. And it does. It makes me better. When I leave the gym, you know, I get up before everybody else gets up in the morning, and I don't like it. It sucks. I don't like to get up that early, but I do it because it's that moment to myself, and to be able to leave that and to feel energized and excited and have breakfast with my daughter and then start my day on this really good space is so key. So however you need to fit it in, just, you've got to like somehow, and the best way I think is just scheduling it. Schedule it in.
Oh, yes.
Schedule you into your calendars.
Yeah. That's absolutely. And you know what? Sometimes, really quickly, because I know we're wrapping up, sacrifices will have to be made. Yes, you have to realize that there will be hard points. And sometimes those hard points may last longer than a day or a week or even a month. However, don't give up.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, Tanya, why don't you tell our listeners where they can find out more info about your program that you have coming up, as well as you?
You can find me, Tanya Plummer Fit, on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm tanya.plummer.fit. And I have actually, on February the 1st, I'm starting my 4-week flat belly jumpstart. So what that does, it actually kind of takes the 7-day sugar challenge one step further, and actually we talk about nutrition as a whole in terms of reducing belly fat, reducing tummy pain. A lot of high carb meals, because we do focus on a high fat, low carb lifestyle. A lot of high carb meals come with a lot of tummy pain and bloating. So we really focus on getting that down. We're going to increase your fat loss in this program. And the best part is you're going to reduce or completely eliminate those nasty sugar cravings.
Yeah.
I know, and that in turn is going to help increase our energy. So where they can find me for that is either on Facebook or on Instagram, because the program is still in process right now. But I talk about it all the time on those 2 social media. So social media is, I'm a social media gal, come find me.
All right. And guys, if you're listening, you can also check us out at fitchicksacademy.com, and you can check out more information about Tanya there, where we'll also have her links directly there. So if you didn't write it down, make sure you go to fitchicksacademy.com, and then you can link right through and follow her.
Fantastic.
Right, Tanya, thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing this information with our listeners. I really, truly appreciate it. And I'm so glad that we finally got to connect.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was my pleasure.
All right, guys. And thank you so much for listening. We'll talk again next week. Bye.
Bye.